very much for coming, Maharaj. We're very pleased to welcome all the Vaishnavas here at 26th Avenue. Yes, everyone is welcome here, and of course, everyone knows the significance of 26th Avenue, that this is the beginning of Prabhupada's official preaching in the West. So, either directly or indirectly, most of us here have some sentiment or have some kind of indebtedness to this place, 26th Avenue. And we thank everyone for coming here and for giving your association to all of us who regularly come here. And especially, yes, please, Maharaj. Especially we, sorry? Yes. Yes. No, I'm not from this place, from the West Coast. From first temple in Los Angeles. Prabhupada was originally came, of course, in 1965, and he was staying with some people and giving lectures in various places, and then he came to New York. He continued to give lectures in various places with no fixed place. So he had to tolerate a very uncomfortable situation in one apartment, living with only some young people, and one of these people was crazy. So it was a very uncomfortable, difficult situation. Then he had some followers, some young men, and they were not very serious, but he requested them, please help me to find a place. So two of them especially took this seriously, that we can't subject it. Carl Jurgens and Michael Grant. That's Mukunda Goswami now. He's Mukunda Goswami. Carl Jurgens is not associated anymore with devotees, but he was initiated. He took the initiation. So these two helped Prabhupada, and Mukunda found this place. And there was also a residence, an apartment in the across this courtyard here. So together the two places then became the official place for Prabhupada to preach. Then in the beginning, cooking was in the residence. Yes, Harikatha and Prashad, yes, exactly. And students were not very serious. Prabhupada then was cooking in his apartment and also cleaning up after these young students were coming and taking prashad in the middle of the day. Some of them were just loitering, they had nothing to do, no occupation. And so they were coming regularly just to take prashad from Swamiji. Then he was giving in the evening and the morning classes here in this place. So more people were coming to the classes, and then a few who later became more serious, they were taking prashad with Swamiji in midday. So gradually, Prabhupada taught them how to clean the pots, how to cook prashad, how to do everything, lead Sankirtan, how to manage the finances, how to administrate the mandir. So in this way, Prabhupada actually began with very little, nothing, only some raw material. So then he began also Bhakti Magazine, as Maharaj and it was printed in a very crude manner, just here in this center. So they used to print this and then go on the street and distribute the magazine. Then at some point they also began to go to the nearby park, about 8-10 blocks away, and have some kirtan on Sundays, on special days in the park. I guess. Then charter, yes, the incorporation, yes. So then in July, after a few months, Prabhupada wanted to incorporate the society, an international society for Krishna consciousness. And some devotees, they were embarrassed, because they said, Swamiji has called it international, but actually we have only one center. So they were embarrassed. Then, after some months, again, then in December, Prabhupada went to West Coast, to San Francisco, and began there. Then, constantly, Prabhupada was preaching open temples, open temples. If anybody came who was serious, he said, I want 108 temples. So then, if somebody was serious or senior, he said, you please go this way. Somebody would write a letter to Prabhupada, Vancouver, Canada, Los Angeles, San Diego. So they're suggesting that this is a good place. Then Prabhupada would see somebody and say, you go, you go, you go. So in this way, centers began in various places. Now, Prabhupada, all right, this is. Yes. You have to start.
So I joined in October of 1966, and I met Srila Prabhupada at that famous tree in Tompkins Square Park. And then some stranger invited me to the temple here, and right at that corner of the temple, somebody handed me a chapati, and as I was eating it and thinking how intoxicating this taste is, I overheard two brahmacharis speaking. One was saying to the other that Swamiji has just said that when godbrothers fight or argue, it should be taken as clouds passing by. In other words, when clouds pass by, nobody notices it. So very insignificant. And then someone invited me up to Prabhupada's quarters, just a few feet across the courtyard. And in Prabhupada's room, anybody could go in at that time. Prabhupada sat back. There were just a bunch of hippies in his room. They were all hippies. And Prabhupada said, this process is nothing that you or I have made up. It is very old and simple and sublime. Then he sat back and he said, we are temporary. This body is temporary. Everything around us is temporary, but we are eternal. And then he invited me to come to the morning and evening program. We had morning program at 7 o'clock, samsara prayers, and then always the morning tune of Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Hare Krishna. And then he'd speak on Srimad Bhagavatam. And then 1 month later, in November 19th, he began speaking on Chaitanya Charitamrita, the teachings of Lord Chaitanya to Sanatana Goswami, chapter 20-22. And he would speak about the different incarnations. He would speak how Krishna is on his road show, traveling throughout the universes. And then he would speak about the love of Radha and Krishna. He would quote Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikati Radhishasti Asmat. How the love of Radha and Krishna is the highest manifestation of the absolute truth. And I remember after one class I asked him, because I thought that I'm a girl, Radharani is a girl, and Krishna is a boy, I asked him up in his quarters if it's all right to be jealous of Radharani. And he said, no, you can only get to Krishna through Radharani. And then he was sitting in his courtyard here, just outside the temple, and he was sitting on a beach chair. That is those plastic chairs with the stones. And all the devotees were coming up to him, and he was patting everybody on the back, patting the girls on the head. And he said that Krishna is very strict and Radharani is very nice. He said, even if I'm a nonsense, if I approach Radharani, then she will go to Krishna and say, I can never love you as much as this devotee, so please accept that devotee. And because the devotee is recommended by Radharani, then Krishna must accept. So upstairs in his quarters, he performed all the initiation ceremonies. And I remember at my initiation, he was telling us about the chanting. And he said that the goal of chanting is that there should be tears falling from the eyes, shivering, hair standing on end. And this happens very easily unless there are offenses. And then he proceeded to list and explain the 10 offenses to the chanting. And this upstairs is also where Prabhupada performed his own personal puja on his small oval altar. And he would, every morning, he would offer Dhup Arati and recite Om Jnanam Timarandasya in offering obeisances to his spiritual master. And in that same room, that room is called the altar room. That's where actually Srila Narayana Maharaj sent Prabhupada's first Radha Krishna deities. And they were worshipped up in those quarters. Srila Narayana Maharaj also sent the first two Mridangas, Kartals, and all of Prabhupada's books from Kolkata. Any of you who know about preserving books, you have to use this very toxic chemical. So Srila Narayana Maharaj became ill in getting all of Prabhupada's books from Kolkata and mailing them here to New York so Srila Prabhupada could use them as references for his translations of the Gita and Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So in those quarters, we worshiped the first deities, and then in April, from January to April of '67, Prabhupada went to San Francisco, and when he came back, he brought with him the second Lord Jagannath deity of the movement. And Jagannath and Balaram came with Prabhupada, and Prabhupada personally put them up on their first altar, which was 2 brown chairs. And Prabhupada put his arms around Jagannath and Baladev and got them into their places like that, moved them with his arms. And then Subhadra came from San Francisco a couple of days later, and Prabhupada said, she is late just like a woman, but she's the most beautiful of the 3. And then in April, Prabhupada continued his Chaitanya Charitamrita classes, and also he began his series of teachings of Prahlad Maharaj. He also instructed me to do these paintings that you see around the walls, this one of Radha and Krishna. He told me to copy from his very first canto Srimad Bhagavatam cover, which, incidentally, when Prabhupada was printing those Bhagavatams in Delhi, Srila Narayana Maharaj was associating with Prabhupada when Prabhupada was at that Radha Damodar temple. They would cook together, talk together, so many things. Maharaj explained that Prabhupada was wearing worn and torn cloths, and he gave Prabhupada his chadar to lie down on. They would make chapatis together and discuss Prabhupada's plans for coming to America. And then Prabhupada had me do this painting here in 1967 of Yashoda and Krishna. And he explained that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give what no other avatar or acharya ever gave before. That is, previously the highest concept of God was as God is the Father, the order supplier. But here in this picture it shows that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give something much higher, that one can become even the mother of God, the friend of God, the lover of God. And he explained that because he was cutting the jungles of Mayavad philosophy, he said, we don't want to become one with God. And he pointed to that painting, and he said, we want to become greater than God, so that God depends on us, just like Mother Yasoda. There were two Vrijvasi prints right over here. One of Krishna feeding glucin into a calf, and the other very beautiful of Krishna sitting on a rock. And Prabhupada said on his Vyasasana right there, he says, we are not interested, Vyasasana is not there, but there's a photo. I don't know if that photo can be taken off the wall above you. I don't know if it's attached, but Prabhupada's Vyasasana was right there. This is a photo of Srila Prabhupada sitting on that Vyasasana with a oval picture of Radha and Krishna above him. That was taken in 1967 right here. So Prabhupada said, he was looking at those Vrijvasi prints, and he said, we are not interested in going to Vaikuntha. We want to be with Krishna sitting on the rock in Vrindavan. So I don't want to take any more time, because now I will introduce Srila Narayana Maharaj, who himself has come from Vrindavan, just like Srila Prabhupada, to New York, to glorify Prabhupada and continue his mission. He says continually that he came to the West for three reasons. The first reason is to go to all the holy places, particularly this holy place, where Prabhupada established temples, and take the dust from Prabhupada's feet, place that dust on his own head, bathe himself or abhishek himself with that dust, so that he would get energy to continue Prabhupada's mission. So,
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Mayapur, there is yoga beach where he first appeared. And from there, his pastimes and leaders of broadcast all over the world. So this was a big landing place for Swami Maharaj, for Srila Prabhupada. And he introduced that, what became popularly known as Krishna consciousness. And seeing this very nice painting here, somebody got it on here, Maharaj, and underneath at an angle is Krishna. Consciousness is what's the problem. So, for Krishna consciousness necessitates the devotee, participation of the devotee. How we will be Krishna conscious alone is impossible. So, our Srila Narayana Maharaj has come here actually by invitation. And that invitation was given a long, long time ago. And in a very, very happy and charming way, Maharaj has come here. Before we left Thompson Square Park, I gave him a piece of the tree, which was brought by the chanting under, and requested him to take this back to the church. So it was indeed a holy place, a pilgrimage. Maybe something like the Siddha Buffalo tree and Jagannath Puri, where in charge of Haridas Thakur did his bhajan, chanting lakhs of names daily. And Srila Prabhupada came out from Vrindavan, his rooms in Radha Damodar. He made a tremendous sacrifice that most of us know well about. And our Srila Narayana Maharaj, he knows well about Srila Prabhupada also, his struggles here. And he knows him internally also. And two things I'll mention more. One is that once, when Swami Maharaj was questioned how difficult a place it is, where he was run and how he succeeded there, he replied by saying, well, I am a Calcutta boy. And anyone who has seen Calcutta knows that if you are trained in Calcutta, New York is, no problem for you. And second thing is that Maharaj told yesterday that Srila Prabhupada requested him by his own hand to place him in Samadhi. And I had the fortune of being standing behind Maharaj. Srila Prabhupada requested that. And he was, actually Srila Prabhupada requested him to sit on his bed. Please sit here. Babaji Maharaj and others used to come to see Srila Prabhupada, who were directly his godbrothers, disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Especially Babaji Maharaj used to just jump onto Srila Prabhupada's bed, almost shocking us. He would just jump and hit Prabhupada, and he would talk in Bengali, and he would start to sing. So when Narayana Maharaj came to visit that day, Prabhupada asked him, please sit on my bed. But Maharaj declined, saying he would not sit on his bed. And he told Maharaj, I cannot sit on your bed, you're my guru. I remember seeing Srila Prabhupada's face over his shoulder. Prabhupada was lying on the bed, and he looked at Narayana Maharaj and he said, yes, for a long time I know our relationship is like that. You are king like that. I'm your guru. So of course that is Shiksha Guru, and there's much intimacy there. But it is a true thing that there's the external movement of the Vaishnava and the internal movement. And we know much about Srila Prabhupada externally, what he did. But what moved him internally to do all these things, in many cases remains a great mystery. And it is in relation to the internal prospect that he requested Maharaj to personally place him in his samadhi. That is not an ordinary thing. It cannot be done with ordinary things. And not simply because Maharaj has studied many books and knows many things and many appropriate mantras. Also it's necessary. But because of the great intimacy which they shared together for many years. And I know that if Srila Prabhupada was here today, to personally welcome Maharaj, he's welcoming him to all of you in this. He would be very happy to take him to Radha Govindaji, to darshan, but unfortunately there's not maybe time for that situation. So, apart from these rooms here, this is our Radha Damodar. Radha Damodar in Vrindavan is also a type of yoga pit, although it is not actually the Goswamu's temple. I believe Govindaji is the official yoga pit. But there is special sweetness at Radha Damodar. And if you see the movements of Srila Prabhupada, he did not take any ordinary place for his residence. Alright, you want to use that? That's right here. You're here every day? Nobody has rooms in the back now. No, there's a lot of stuff here. No. Srila Prabhupada always chose some special places where he could live here that in case he tried for a long time to secure his room without an Amadar. At Delhi, he had that place called Shikiwana. Shikiwana there is Radha Krishna. And his struggles began there. He used to sometimes sleep in the doorway. I met many people in Delhi. Sisters Srila Prabhupada in Delhi struggles with things like Bhagavatam. He printed his Bhagavatams in his press. You know the name of that press? Bhagavatam Press. I found that press. Straight through, so the OK press. That was OK. I was surprised to God that the press, the book of Bhagavatam, he chose Radha first. He lived in, before that, Radha Shmarik. Shmarik is called from Jhansi, Radha Shmarik. Not just taken, not simply coincidentally either. But Srila Prabhupada did not speak much about his personal struggles and so many things, but he chose these things very expertly. When I went to this Radha Press, which is over across the Yamuna River in Delhi, I saw that press. That day, there was one big Mayavadi at that press. Dungre Maharaj was there. So we had some words, and then I went to the press, and the press that printed the Bhagavatam in the middle of the floor. It's quite neat and clean, surprising for a press in India. Very neat. And all along the wall there are slokas at this press. And all Sanskrit and Hindi. Well, I'm not reading Sanskrit and Hindi. I'm a stupid guy. I'm looking at all these things. All these things, slokas. Why do we need one of them? And I looked. One sloka was in English. That sloka was Trinadapi Sunicena. It is spelled in English. So I asked the Sharmaji, whose press it was, who worked for Dalmian, and secretary to Mr. Dalmian. And I asked him, why did sloka is it? And he told, oh, your Guru Maharaj, he told, one sloka you must put here in English. And he told, Trinadapi Sunicena. I thought, oh, that is very nice. Then later I heard from some of the godbrothers of our Gaudiya, not they used to joke with him because he was a chemist. They would say, hey Babu, can you put some formula for Krishna consciousness into a bottle? Because he's making formulas. He said, yes, I have a formula. The difficulty is putting in the bottle. And they said, you have the formula. And he told Trinadapi to make it. Without humility, Krishna consciousness is only mental speculation, undeep knowledge. The crown jewel of Vaishnava is humility. At that time also I discovered I was visiting the gentleman who owned the OK Press, and he's now a lawyer, but I visited his Delhi home in Old Delhi, and he gave me some very old books, which Srila Prabhupada published. Bhagavatam with black covers. Originally he printed red cover and black cover, and then made a choice. But then he gave me this one volume of black cover. So he was there, his wife was there, his daughter was there, now about that time, about 29 years old or so. And at that time, that lady was just a baby, 3 months old. And Srila Prabhupada used to come in and do so many things. Actually, he used to cook their lunch together. And they would take some shots together. I saw one plaque on the wall. It said, I am the servant of God. God will protect me. Why I should fear for anything? Why I should worry? Worry or fear? I said, that sounds familiar. So I asked, who has written this? He said, oh, daily we were telling your Guru Maharaj, you don't have proper cloth, you don't have proper place to stay, you need to put money aside and give these things for yourself. Why do you go through all these difficulties? And he would say, I am serving God. God will protect me. Therefore I should fear him. So he sacrificed everything, and on the way, he charmed everyone. Everyone that he met in this world. And came here and continues to charm the devotees, and his charm certainly continues in the world to this day. So I myself was very fortunate to know Narayana Maharaj from great little. It's 1976 July. We first met Petit Bhavana. He found Maharaj's temple. He came to us in Vrindavan, and he told, I have found a temple where Prabhupada took sannyas. And I have seen the photo. So, take me there. See this place. So we went there, and that was before remodeling. There was one like lotus in the center of it. So some brahmacharis here, they told us, yes, your son Maharaj is taking sannyas here. So we went there. And then we met Narayana Maharaj. They kindly gave us this photo of Srila Prabhupada taking sannyas. That photo is everywhere. It is famous. It is dear to us. these things which are dear to us, which are connected to Srila Prabhupada, we must consider that by whose hand we get these things, most persons must also be careful. This is not simply Prabhupada's case. He came, but he had backing, he had friends, he had people that he remembered. And Maharaj, as has been said many times to his children, he sent the first resemblance. As soon as I heard he's coming to America, but now he's come to play with his life. I didn't see him play with the fingers, but we're dancing, he's playing with the resemblance so fast. But he's playing with the resemblance. The three hot resemblance, the three shape resemblance. But I wonder who got the ate he said it. Who ate it? Only Prabhupada. You probably wouldn't remember. It's just a dark, round, shape. So Maharaj, now we'll hear something please. Oh,
वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमो भावचन्द्राय कृष्णप्रेमास्पदाय कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरहरिये गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै प्रदाने कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय भक्ताय नमो I'm remembering all the things when I met him, how I heard him, how my first meeting, how sannyas, how serving him, and last meeting in the served him in Vrindavan. As if some little serving him. was a very presumption of my Gurudev. He was a bona fide Guru Nishtha. You know Guru Nishtha? Always, internally, outwardly, serving his holy master. He has done anything to do for himself, only to carry the order of his holy master, and to serve Radha Krishna and Sri Maharja. When I compare my Gurudev and him, I realize that both are in the same platform. And they're really there. Tan, Man and Bachan means body, mind, and soul also. But they have offered in the lotus feet of that Holy Master. We offer also in the lotus feet of our Holy Master, but we cannot do only by words or something, but only by Atma and mind we can. But I have seen and I have realized are my Gurudeva how he has served his Gurudev with his soul, mind, life and everything. It will be a very big history. Like saying, Swami has not come for any making money, for reputation, for any worldly thing, that from India so many persons come to West for money, wealth, reputation, to be easy in their life, but he has not come for his duty. Only by the order of his Gurudev Master and to fulfill the orders of his one of our spiritual Radha and Krishna conjugal. His Gurudev was most dearest beloved of Srimati Radhika. He has not told that I am the servant of Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Ki Namne Shri Vashubhanevi Devi Daitaya. So I think that Srimati Radhika has told him that order this your maid servant to go to world and inspire all human beings, not human beings, but all the creatures and all living entities. They should come to you. There is no bhakti in the Western country. No bhakti. They don't know anything. They don't chant Krishna or Maharja. Always so much immersed in worldly gratification, self-gratification. So he used to go and so he can. His mission was mission. Mission, I Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thinks. I think that so many of disciples of Swami, they don't know all these things. That he has come on one of the same mission for the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Rup Sanatan, Prabhunath Das Goswami, Kaviraj Goswami, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, all were so near and dear. They were in their past life, they were of Raja, Saman, Kaman Banjari, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Prabhupada said, main Banjari. Srila Rup Goswami, Mukh Banjari. Sarup Damodar was Lalita. Vishakha was Rayaraman. So this is all this. Their mission was to go to all persons everywhere in the world and to make them pure devotee. You heard that a slope? Be a pure devotee. You will have to be. To take that this time bottle, repeats everything with formula. Vinatapi Suniti. Saravapi Sahisuna, Manina, Manadina, if you want to be a Christian. We want to be a Christian. But this is law, but is law. If you are not following, this is law. It cannot be pure good. But I'm thinking now, I'm realizing it, that this is law has been oversight now. Some devotees are doing against this. And he is saying this, and he is so sad for this. So, we have not come here to take worldly knowledge. We are going to follow him and we back to what knowledge we will have from there. We don't know any knowledge. We are one only Bhakti. By this, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Aiva Kevalam, Parau Nasti Vanasti. We have come to preach this. Animal. No need of learning anything more. What knowledge? Krishna Tattva, Maya Tattva. Every Tattva will come automatically by calling Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna is Manil. Name is more powerful than I know him from very beginning. I think that most of you have not got at that time. I met him to the end of 46 or beginning of 47. I think very few at that time will have participated. And from there, I'm serving him. I'm known. At that time, anyone not to serve him, but I know. He used to be as like a friend, not a disciple. Always. But I treated him like my sister. And that is why, when he was penniless, he was a straight beggar. He came to me at Mathura. When his sons and wife kicked him, no place in home, he came to me and told this story. When I joined, when I met with Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur, he was telling to me, sitting together in Mathura, about in 1957 or 9. When I was initiated by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur, I read his slow, just as the Anupranami, Harisheta Anamshane. Those who take shelter of Krishna, Krishna makes him, always makes him. History is there. Now we have made this. I was saying that when I will chant more your devotional services, then I may be history. Now I see that history. I advise that Krishna does not want, or your Prabhupada does not want that you should be successful in your worldly things. So he has done like so. You are so much powerful, you are so much learned. Your Holy Master has told you to preach in Western countries in English language. Your language is English language is so rich. Only in Bengali language we talk each other. He told me, I don't know Bhakti, but I know that Krishna mercy has come, that is why I have become able. And in the meantime, our Gurudeva came to Mathura from Navadvip. And I also requested him that he should tell him to take renounce order. My Gurudeva also requested him, and he did. He agreed. And next day, at the time of Vishwarup Kaur, when Vishwarup was in Purnima, the first Purnima, before that, when he took sannyas, I managed everything from danda, door cooking, cloth, everything I managed. I also managed for a sacrifice, and I did it. I recited his months. Then Guru Maharaj came, gave door cooking, months and that. Krishnadas Maharaj was at that time also doing this. Someone asked me, or told me, among the disciples of Swamiji, that is Danda, the GBC members, that sannyas giving is only a secondary thing. I told them, you don't know anything. Sannyas is given for only Gopi Bhav. The mantra is Gopi Bhav. This mantra is itself for Gopi Bhav. So, sannyas is not an ordinary thing. It was their sheep that has this, nothing else. This mantra and this sannyas, that now I have nothing to do with worldly things. I want this. It is not a second. It opens the door to go to Braja in the mood of Gopi. And I saw them. Then this. So only this is not second to them. Yes. Sometimes maybe that Diksha Guru cannot give, but after that Diksha Guru can give it. So it happened. Then our relation became more thick and more thick, like friends. I went with him in Jhansi, and wherever he used to go to. He wanted to be always with me. I used to help him in cooking, everything. He used to also translate Gita. In being Keshavji Gaudiya Math, he translated Gita so much. I was helping him in all the respects. After we went to Vrindavan, in Rup Goswami Samadhi and Vajanasthali. And after that, he planned to come to Western country. They told me that I want to open some rooms for students, boarding, lodging, and I will help them. And if it will be essential, then I will supply also eggs, maids and everything what they want. But there will be one condition, that is they will have to tell Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. At least one round. And I know that they will give up all these things in very short time, and they will be bona fide. So he was so generous. I sent, as you have heard, I sent everything to Swamiji. Helped him to send all his books only to with him one Gita and 3 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam. Ekarta, and some, nothing big. I remember now that the address where I used to send this is second afternoon please. So many things happened, and when he used to do anything new, he used to write me. About 300 or more than that. Correspondence. When this institution, what institution?
Inaugurated.
Was established, he advanced wrote me that year. He told also that so many cities are coming out. And there will be happy days also. When they come to this place, he wrote me. When he went to San Francisco from here, there, he used to write. So, our friendship went on this. And when he returned third time in India with Krishnananda and Pakistan, perhaps was there. I was only one man to receive him in the airport. None more. And I was with him about 15 days there in Delhi, and he went to Radha Damodar temple. After that, I went to him. And time to time I used to go. I know that all the Goswamis of Vrindavan and his God brothers, they don't used to take even a touch water by Krishnananda and Bhakti. Because respect and they have taken position of these things. I used to see it with Maharaj Swamiji and to see it with Krishnananda because they were Eshakutas. I used to say Prasadam, Mahaprasadam, everything. Still, Swamiji was alive. No one took anything from him, not even a water. But now they are becoming friends of the BBC. And having gone out. Perhaps they don't know. That's one of children. They don't remember the days when he called all and told. And Maharaj has come, now I am so glad. Everything will be good. Narayana Maharaj, please, this will be smart. With your own hand, I know that you are so qualified for all these. And also try to help them. I brought all these boys like a naughty boy, not knowing everything. He also likes monkeys. Also he told. He should help him. I told him I will carry your order to my ability. And tell him. He also called up them, and I told that he certain things that he is going to die. But this is a slave role. He is going to serve eternally to his master's divine couple and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nityananda. And in one body he will be here forever to knowledge. He can have so many shapes as Krishna has said. Like now, you know, there are lakhs and lakhs. Also Yashoda Nanda Baba. All are lakhs and lakhs manifestations. In this way you will hear. And always among you, giving inspirations and making arrangements. if you think that he is not of mind, then everything will be spoiled. Don't quarrel among you for money, wealth, reputation, and everything. You should try to fulfill his mission. What? Try to honor all devotees, whether they are in Kanishtadhikari or Madhyam or Uttam. So if there are no devotees, also not initiation, heaven, if they are chanting Hare, you should honor all. As a family, we are all independent of Mahaprabhu. So I remember all these things. I think that he has taught me here. And if he is saying all these things, Narayana Maharaj is here in my 20 seconds, nothing you here. He has been in California. He has been to Manor in England. He was in Los Angeles. And everywhere he is talking that, oh, here I am. So I'm so much fascinated to come to this place and to pay just for some years. It is so much Mahamahasir, like Haridas Thakur when he left his body, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself carried him and he gave Samadhi with his own hand and told that now this is Mahamahasir. He was at first Siddha, but by the touching the feet of Siddhartha, so powerful Mahamahasir. So it is also on the sea coast, perhaps eastern coast, and in western coast, California and all places, Los Angeles, they have become so Mahamahasir. So my first mission is focus. And I want his mercy. That's where he is. I should go there. To meet my Gurudeva, find him, and to start coming to her, behind him. But I am waiting, and they will call, I will go. But so, I will have to be in Vrindavan, Mathura, and all these places, practicing Trinada, Peace-to-Eating, or Bhagavati, Manina, Brahmane, Sri Gauranga, Bodhite, Have, Pulakashari, Rupa Raghunatha, Highway, Akuti, Kave, Ame, Pujabasi, like this. Our ultimate goal, just like Srimati Hari, that he told, I don't tell that every night, but I used to tell them in the name of Shamran. First, he was then drowning in his world things. Swamiji took her and he gave in the service of Krishna, Jadu is Krishna, and Jadu Rani. And then I told her, better you can start. Swami has promoted to this. I want that by this place, this will be Sham. To see, told the main object of Swami is to come to me. Not to be the servant of Krishna, his prophet, and sometimes his so hard. So, soft, sweet, fragrant, everything. Krishna has admitted in Chaitanya Charitamrita. That my Guru is Srimati Radhika. And we will have to serve. And for this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to this world. This is the first mission, and most important mission of Swami. He lost his so much time in clearing Mayavad, Karmavad, Dhyanvad, Yogavad, everything. in cutting jungles and to make a very clear form. And then he gets the seed of Bhakti, and that is called to serve Krishna. And it will come in the shape of outwardly Sartha, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav, and then nothing in this world to do. Prem will come in next, but when he will gain Ganga. So he has come to this, not to be always in lower class, always doing the service at first he did, only to distribute books, to do something, to write something, to do Kirtan English, right? You have to do all. You have to do also, and you have to do up. Shraddha, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti. What is Asakti? What is Ruchi? What is Bhut? What is Vishuddha Sattva? Not only that Kirtan doing, and that Kirtan is of Kanishta regard. Names are of so many saints. When a man being in the worldly things, if he chants and knows that this body I saw, I am this body, then his name is third class. Not pure. As much as he develops his Krishna consciousness, name goes pure and pure. When there are offenses, when there are worldly intoxications and all these things, by this name we can have some wealth, reputation. Sometimes, if Namabas, we can go to, we can have a liberation, but not Bhakti. By the grace of Gurudeva, we will develop our heart in the stage of Ruchi, and we will see. We are in time. And then name will be somewhat perfect. When perfect that will go, and Suddha Nam, pure Nam will come, and then we will realize, I want this. I want stand, affection and love for this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Otherwise we will never know what was the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what was the mission of our disciplic orders, Gurudeva. I think that is all. Only like us, we have fixed some name, but it is not one thing only of our Gurudeva. Our Swamiji, his glory was that he was, before engaged, he is always engaged in the service of God and Krishna, but he could be like him. And he has given him. So we should try to know him and to glorify him, and to preach his mission to this world. Don't we should be stay doing one platform, but we develop our more thoughts. I pray here in the Lord of somebody that he should be praised to believe more worship, so that we will be able to understand him in real. Guru Prachodaya. You know this mantra? Third mantra. Guru Prachodaya. What is the meaning? Who are you? How are you? What is your strength? What is your duty? What is your service to Krishna? And Krishna. Krishna and Krishna. Krishna who is? It should manifest in our hearts. If you will do this mantra very carefully, with concentration. He will reveal his own and this is. Now you are seeing him not in his real self. Continue to see Krishna, but not real self. Oh, he is like that. Duryodhana used to see him, Krishna. Never he had any conception that he is Krishna. So we have seen the perhaps we have no real. This is a chant like mantra, very honest. Then he made so much. If we have seen him, anyone in this world, he cannot go down. Perfectly normal. Fall down. But as we see that so many disciples are fall down, getting their renounced order, whereas the Krishna Bhagavan Das, Brahmananda, but if they are seeing him and if they are suffering, if they are suffering for a moment, then he is never. But if they are suffering outside. So there are so many devotees I know that they are things that we have served him so much and serving. But I see very rare. You are all very good disciples of Swamiji. No ego, nothing to control anyone. Any devotee, real devotee cannot control anyone. But we are trying to control. Oh, we are all. We have become. And we have served him and served him. But I know that very rare person can change him from all. We should try to see him in and to follow him. If anyone follow him at very little, he will surely have the Krishna in his soul. I know. So we are begging to his mercy, his lotus feet, that he should bestow his mercy more and more